What's up, guys? My name is Shaquan Hurd. As always, the objective is to be heard. Too sweet to everyone. I hope your 2019 has started off fantastic. Hope you're doing everything you want to do and you're where you're supposed to be. Ultimately, I hope you're being heard. Too sweet, Tyler, Usher, Brandon, the usuals. Cerberus Wrestling, the T. Curry Show. Had the opportunity to be a guest on the Cerberus Wrestling podcast. A few days ago, we were watching the Southern Scuffle. Saw some good wrestling. It was my first time on there, and it was the 1 year anniversary of the launching of the Cerberus Wrestling podcast. So that was a great experience. Saw some good wrestling, hung out with some good friends. So it was great. Well, for those of you that don't know, I'm a wrestling coach. I'm an assistant coach at Spartanburg High School in South Carolina. And we wrestled in the Rock Hill Invitational, the Bearcat, this past weekend. On the way home, I sat in the back of the bus with the wrestlers. I usually sit towards the front, but sat in the back and conversed with those guys. Some interesting conversations came up. They were talking to me about potential video subjects and so on and so forth. Well, a couple of stories that happened that came up that I feel the need to talk about. First, we have the transgender wrestler Mac Beggs from Texas, who is transitioning from female to male and taking a low dose of testosterone. She is being made to compete against girls because Texas public high school rules state that you have to compete under the gender that's on your birth certificate. Well, very, very murky waters here, very touchy subject. First and foremost, transgenderism goes out the window. That doesn't matter. What matters is somebody gets the short end of the stick, regardless of whatever solution is found to the situation. If you tell the wrestler, well, you go compete with the boys, then the state of Texas gets the short end of the stick because you're going against the rules, and so you inevitably get the short end of the stick as well. And the wrestler, because they'll probably be somewhat of a little disadvantage competing against the boys. If you tell her, well, as they did, they made her continue to compete against the girls, and it puts every other female wrestler at a disadvantage because Beggs in particular is allowed to take testosterone, which isn't fair. Or you can tell her, well, you can't wrestle at all, and that's not right either. So, like I said, the transgender aspect of it goes out the window. As a human, I have respect for you, so my personal opinion or thoughts or feelings on that don't matter, and neither do yours, to be pretty blatant about it. It's touchy subject, and so they handled it in the way that they felt was best. But it's, like I said, someone gets the short end of the stick either way. It's just what really matters here is that this particular wrestler is allowed to take testosterone while competing against people who are not. So that's that. This isn't a biology or anatomy class. I won't get into testosterone and estrogen and all of that. You can Google that on your own if you want. But the problem is she's allowed to take testosterone. The people she's wrestling, they're not allowed to. So that's where the issue comes in with it. And to her credit, she did ask to compete against the boys, and the state of Texas said no. Stupid on Texas's part. That's stupid. Because she's not cheating. Like, she's not trying to discreetly take testosterone to give herself an advantage over the girls. She's taking it for personal reasons that are beneficial to her, but she's not wanting that to be the reason she wins state championships, So, to her credit, she did ask to compete against the boys. So, however you feel about that, I just felt the need to bring that up and just talk about it. Texas is pretty stupid on that decision. Second, we were talking a pretty recent story. That story was from late 2016, early 2017, I believe. Let's see. Nah, I won't. It's sometime. It's been a little while. And the second story is actually pretty recent, the end of 2018 into the beginning of 2019. In New Jersey, a referee, wrestling official, made a kid cut his dreadlocks or forfeit the match. Now, this particular referee, something Maloney, I can't remember his first name, maybe Alan or Adam Maloney, in 2016 was investigated for making a racial slur to another referee. That should have been the end of his reffing career right there. It's simply not okay. He received a 1-year suspension, and then he turns around and makes his kid cut his dreadlocks. Now, I don't know if it's because the kid was black or any of that. What matters is that should have been handled at the weigh-ins. As a former teammate of guys with dreads and now a coach of kids with dreads, that takes place at the weigh-ins. When wrestlers go to weigh-in, you check their weight, obviously. You check their skin for ringworm, staph, anything like that. You check their fingernails, you check facial hair, and you check if they have long hair. You check their headgear and their hair covers. If that didn't take place at the weigh-ins, then that means his hair was within regulation of the rules. So he should have been okay to continue to wrestle. Everyone in that gymnasium failed that kid, to put it pretty simply. Everyone failed him. If I was going out there to wrestle this kid and they say, well, he has to cut his dreads or he forfeits the match, okay, cool, we both forfeit. You're not okay. It's not okay to do this. The coaches should have addressed that. They shouldn't have offering support to him while getting his dreads cut by the trainer isn't okay. The trainer should have refused to cut his hair. That should have been the end of the match that night. That should have been the end of it. If he doesn't cut his hair, he can't wrestle. Okay, cool. Nobody else is wrestling. We're out of here. That simple. It's not okay to, whether it was racial profiling or whatever the motive was behind it, it shouldn't have gotten that far, is my point. If they'd said, well, at the weigh-ins, if they told the kid, well, if you don't have a hairnet or a hair cover, then we'll have to cut your hair or you'll have to forfeit the match. That's one thing. To do it in the middle of wrestling is not okay. If the kid wasn't within the rules as far as having a hair cover, then apparently the referee wasn't either for not doing it at the weigh-ins. It's not okay, but he has been banned from refereeing, which is a good thing. He doesn't need to be a referee if he's using racial slurs and not following the rules that he's supposed to be enforcing. He shouldn't be there anyway. So it is what it is. Either way, I hope that kid goes on to do great things. And next time, I hope everyone stands up for the wrestler. If there's ever a situation like that, hopefully there won't be. But if there is, then that's simply not okay, and people need to stand up for someone who's unable to stand up for themselves. So that's it. Hey, if you didn't get the opportunity to watch my last video, go back and watch it. I tell you how to enter yourself into a drawing for a giveaway. There'll be 3 people, so don't feel like your chances are very slim. I'll do a video of the drawing so everyone knows that it is random. Go back, watch that, enter yourself into the drawing. Hope your 2019 continues to be fantastic. Hope you're doing phenomenal things. And again, my name is Shaquan Hurd. As always, the objective is to be heard. And too sweet to everyone. I hope you have a